I have convinced myself that I am going to ride this bike through the winter, come rain or shine.
Do you believe me that I'm a lonely soul? Would you love me? I've been searching, always wanted more. Can you hear me?
Nice biking weather today, folks. Not too hot, not too cold. So I'm back on the Iron Horse to make best use of what little bit of nice weather we might have left. I reckon give it a month or maybe 2 if we're lucky, and then we'll really be starting to see the winter weather. It's going to get dark a lot sooner. We're going to get the cold weather, we're going to get the wet weather, and it's normally around about that time of year that I park the bike up. Always have done. Park the bike up for the winter and then go and wake him up several months later. And it's something that I want to get out of. I've always been a fair weather rider, and I make no excuse of that. In fact, I was talking to my manager the other day and I mentioned the bike, and she said, "Oh, is this the fair weather motorbike, is it?" Like, it's got to a point now where it's not just me that's known as a fair weather biker, but the bike is now known as a fair weather motorbike. I definitely need to get out of the habit of tucking the bike away for several months. Not just for YouTube, not just for the channel, but for me. I think about those winter months, and now I am trying to convince myself to go out during the winter, and I've even tried convincing myself on a previous video. I used to put my bike away for the winter, and I'm really determined not to do that this year, because I think about all that riding that I'm missing out on. You know, I'd love to keep riding through the winter, so that's what I plan to do. It's probably easier said than done though. When the weather looks like this, it's easy for me to sit on the bike and say, yeah, I'm going to ride all the way through the winter until the winter comes around and it's 0 degrees. I now think about those winter months as lost biking opportunities. I didn't ride a bike for 12 months. From the summer of 2020 to the summer of 2021, I didn't ride. So I lost 12 months there. And now I think to myself, those winter months, they are just lost months. They are lost biking opportunities. Now, I've never been one for riding in the winter, because in my mind, why would you want to? You know, who wants to ride in the rain? Please tell me if you actually do want to ride in the rain. I'd like to know why. And I have pretty poor circulation, so the moment it gets slightly cold, the minute the weather gets a little bit cold, my hands turn white, my feet turn white, so I always park the bike up. But I do think to myself, what about these bikers out there that just ride straight through the winter? Like, are you all just hardcore bikers? In which case, well done, fair play to you. You're not missing out on several months of biking opportunities if you're just a hardcore rider and you're just making the most of it. And I've always understood oh, look at that, I've just hit 10,000 miles. Anyway, I was saying, I've always understood people who have a bike as their only method of transport. I understand if you don't have a choice. I am fortunate, I do have a car that I can drive when the weather's terrible. You know, I'm fortunate in that respect, and if your bike is your only method of transport, then yeah, you've not got a choice, have you, but to ride in the winter. But other than that, it's never really interested me until now. So I have to think about, what do I need? Why has my attempts at riding in the winter been so terrible? I think it's probably because, first of all, I'm wearing summer gear. Summer gloves, perforated, lets a lot of air through in the hotter months, which is what you need. You know, do I need some winter gloves? I've tried them on before and they're just big and fat and you can't feel the controls, so maybe I need heated grips. It's an investment and you probably lose that investment when you sell the bike, but I would invest if it meant I wasn't missing out on several months of biking. Yeah, I'd invest in some heated grips. And then there's my leathers. You know, I'm wearing a two-piece leather at the moment, which again, it's perforated, it's great for the summer. You know, it lets plenty of air through. I've actually got a thermal on underneath at the moment as well, because I'm already feeling that slightly colder weather. But you know, maybe I need to hang up the leathers for a few months and invest in something else. Do I need textiles? I definitely need something that's waterproof. And it may be that my almost, not quite, but almost hatred of winter riding comes from the fact that the first time I rode the bike in the rain was out of necessity, because Lexi's clutch went and there's so little room under the bonnet of that car. You know, gearbox out job, and then we had several other issues and she was off the road for 3 weeks. But the day the clutch went, it was a Sunday, I had work the next day and I wasn't too worried about it. I knew I could do the clutch, I knew I had the bike that I could use, so I thought that's fine, I'll use the bike. And then I checked the weather and it was absolutely chucking down with rain, and it was a 27-mile-an-hour wind. I was absolutely drenched by the time I got to work. Not through and through, you know, drenched on the outside, a little bit on the inside, but I just didn't find it pleasant in the slightest. And I think that's where my dislike of winter riding comes from. Oh, tide's out. Look, was she on the wrong side of the road? Anyway, tide's out. Always some nice views around here. I might be fishing around here later. And then there's the bike, and how absolutely filthy the bike gets the minute you're out in the rain. I actually got caught out in the rain not that long ago, only for 5 minutes, but that's all it took. 5 minutes out, the bike had been clean. You know, 5 minutes in, very light rain, and the bike was filthy. And I do like a clean bike. I would love a bike with white wheels or blue wheels, but they become impossible to keep clean. This is a nice little place to stop. I do try and keep my bike clean. I'm not a clean freak by any measure, but I do like my vehicles to be clean. And I just know that riding the bike during the winter, that's going to get incredibly difficult. I think about how dirty the bike gets just in normal use, just when it's dry, when I'm not riding country lanes, I'm just riding main roads and I'm out for half an hour. And then there's the problems that I've had with the bike from previous owners having not looked after him. This chrome piece here, this chrome piece of the fork, was pitted and it had to be replaced. And I'm convinced it's because he was either kept outside or ridden outside and not kept clean afterwards. In the rare occasions that I have ridden the bike in the rain, as soon as I've got back, I've got straight into there, cleaned up the chrome from top to bottom, because I don't have to replace forks again. I mean, that wasn't cheap. That just that one chrome piece and the fork oil was close to 200 quid, not to mention several hours of my time. If I want to ride during the winter so that I don't miss out on several months of biking, then I need to accept that either the bike's going to get dirty or I'm going to have to end up cleaning it far more often. We're not losing out on 3 or 4 months of biking activities. No, we'll deal with the dirt and the grime and the rain and the wind and everything else. And so what if things get a little bit dirty, a little bit messy? We've all only got a limited amount of time on this plane of existence, so we should be making the most of it, and we should be having fun whilst we can. And yeah, bike will get a bit messy, a bit dirty. We can always clean him up, get him back to the standard that I like to keep him at. It just means that maybe I'll be cleaning him a little more regularly. But until those winter months turn up and we have to deal with the dirt and the grime and the wind and the rain and everything else, let's have fun and enjoy what's left of this half decent weather.
Takes time, lost that shit. So how when you hit that shit?